Welcome to East by West Farms. Here we grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Today I'm going to show some earthwork I'm doing in the garden during the winter time. Winter is the time to do earthwork in the garden. All the gardens here are in ground, and that of course presents quite some challenge. One thing is that the black clay is very dense. Another challenge is that it holds water very well, and sometimes if we get lots of rain, it chokes the plant's growth. A lot of gardeners are switching to the no-dig gardening. We are trying to practice that as well, but we adjust that for our soil. And so we do a combination of digging and no digging, and hopefully eventually we will be able to switch to completely no digging. We have some success on planting things on the berm of the swale. Swale take a lot of effort. So this winter, I'm trying to do some swale in the garden, kind of a scaled down model of the swale. Behind me, you can see that I have deep trenches that also function as a walkway for the garden. When we get lots of rain in winter or early spring, that's typical here, we will get water collect in the trenches, so the trench kind of behaves like a swale and hold the water in the ground. Another benefit is that now you essentially kind of have a raised bed that is about 6 inches above the ground, and that way the plants will not get soaking wet and stunt the growth. Another reason that I want to do earthwork in winter is that I want to experiment with the digging and the no digging. There's a question whether pure non-digging method will work for the very dense clay. I'm going to use this patch over here, kind of do an experiment. This patch actually have lots of weeds. The summer crop didn't do well over here. That's why the weeds are gonna take over. I don't mind on that. These are native Texas weeds, and they actually have deep roots that kind of loosen the soil somewhat. I have a trench halfway dug over there. What I'm going to do is continue, and then to my right over here, I'm going to dig it up to get rid of all the weeds. And then to the left, I'm actually might just pour the weeds, but I'm not going to dig. Then I take the dirt that I dig up and cover this patch over here. I already thrown some seeds, daikon radish seeds and the fava bean in here. When they get covered and we are still kind of the temperature is still high, they should sprout, and we will see how that works during winter, that these plants are cover crops that will help work the soil, and then we see in summer how this patch function or produce. So let me work on the right side first. The clay here is very dense and it sticks to the fork. The best tool for digging in this heavy clay is actually a fork. On this side, I'm not going to dig in it. I'm just going to pull the weeds out, but you can see that the weeds have very strong roots. They essentially just break off above the ground. And so we'll cover them by soil, maybe that will kind of kill them. and then the roots will live in the ground as a biomass. Now that I clean up the weed somewhat, I'm going to dig my walkway or trench and use the soil that dug up to cover the plants. And this also had lots of weeds. The soil, once you pile them up, they actually get quite loose, and that's what the plants like. This is garden area, and the top is relatively loose, but you can see as I dig down, the soil is pretty compact. This soil is already conditioned somewhat. That didn't take me long to clean out the trench and put all the soil on top of the weed patch and all that. This is thick enough to choke out the weed, and the fava bean and the daikon radish still can come out. The nice thing with the trench is you can really control the depth. The earth kind of slope this way, and a lot of time without the trench, the water will just run off into the pond. But now with the trench, you can level the trench floor so that the water will stay and soak into the ground. Another benefit for digging the trench is that you can use the dirt that you dig up to help with composting. Here I have lots of dead squash vine, so I just pile them up and let them decompose. And that takes some time. You can speed up the composting time by just cover them with dirt, because the dirt holds the water very well, and that helps speed up the composting. So first, I clear up a path for my digging, for my trench, and get all the vine and all that out of the way. And then just pile them up by the side. Now that's the dig begin. Now this patch has all the organic material covered by the soil. I can either leave this over winter and then it will be ready for spring planting, or I can actually sprinkle some like cilantro and the weed, the winter cover crops on that. That's probably what I'm going to do, is to cover the soil with cover crop, and that will be a nice patch for spring planting. Winter is the time to do earthwork in the garden. In this video, I showed you the benefit of digging the trenches in the garden for our black clay soil. We also use the dug up soil to experiment with digging and non-digging and see if that makes any differences. Another way is to use this dug up soil to help with decomposing of the organic material. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it down below. If you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button to follow our journey with the East by West Farms.